Hello, Assalamu alaikum, and good morning. I am going to start the third lecture on autopsy. And the learning objective of this lecture will be that we will be discussing and try to learn what is medical legal autopsy. So I am going to start the main autopsy which is being conducted in our country, that is the medical legal autopsy. Its definition, what is the significance of medical legal autopsy, what are various rules, and what are the authorities or what is authorization to conduct autopsy in medical legal cases. Who is the autopsy surgeon for conduction of the medical legal autopsy? And we'll try to learn that what are the main objectives for the conduction of the medical legal autopsy. And as we know, and we'll also try to learn in detail that the most important objectives of medical legal autopsy is identity, to know the kind of weapon, to know the medical cause of death, mode of death, manner of death, time since death, and time between injury and death. That is the fatal period. And the time since death is the postmortem clock. So these are the most important objectives. And as we know that when we start the autopsy, we are going to identify, for identification, the main methods which are used, the subjective, objective, and the third party. And the most common in the known cases, it is the third party method. That the third party means the relatives, the police or the friend, they identify, the third person identify. Then we'll learn what we mean by the medical cause of death, what is meant by mode of death, what is fatal period, and what is time since death. Then we'll also learn in this lecture the corpus delicti, which is actually the body of the crime. So starting with the third lecture on autopsy, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Continuing with the topic of autopsy in the lecture third, in this lecture, we will start our discussion on the medical legal autopsy. Medical legal autopsy, it is a complete scientific study of the dead body, internal as well as external, under the law of the state for administration of justice and betterment of the society. So main pillar of the betterment of the society is the justice. So justice is served by complete examination of the dead body. The significance of medical legal autopsy, this is of great importance in cases of suspicious deaths to rule out any foul play, because the disposal of such cases on the basis of clinical diagnosis alone will not be sufficient, as it has been seen that the clinical diagnosis is wrong in about 50% of the cases in establishing the cause of death. What are rules for conduction of autopsy? The authority and the laws which are related for the conduction of medical legal autopsy, they are, as the police gives us the authority to conduct autopsy, and basically the authority is with the state. So state is to give the authority for the medical legal examination or medical legal autopsy, and police acting as state gives us the authority, and it is performed under section 174 of the Criminal Procedure Code of Pakistan and Police Rules 1934, section 24, subsection 34, section 25, subsection 34, and section 25, subsection 36. So these are the laws which gives the authority for conduction of autopsy. The area investigating officer visits the scene of crime, and if there is any suspicion of foul play, he will forward the body for autopsy to the nearest autopsy center. So the principle of referral for autopsy, police refers to nearest autopsy center, the nearest facility where the autopsy facilities are there. And who is the autopsy surgeon? This is a very important question. The authorized medical officer at the nearest autopsy center will conduct this autopsy. So this is most important word, authorized medical officer. That means the medical officer appointed by the health department at a facility where the autopsy can be conducted, that medical officer there is authorized medical officer. That means law has empowered him, law has given him the authority to conduct autopsy. So the body will be referred to nearest autopsy center where the crime has occurred, and the authorized medical officer at that autopsy center will conduct the autopsy. And that may be a Tehsil headquarters, a district hospital, or a teaching hospital. And you know, in the teaching hospital, the autopsy is conducted by the demonstrators. Health department has issued a special notification for the demonstrators to make them authorized medical officer for the conduction of the autopsy. So autopsy can only be conducted by the authorized medical officer, which means the health department has authorized them. And what are the objectives of medical legal autopsy? It is said as that autopsy is a dialogue between the dead body and the autopsy surgeon. It's a dialogue between a dead body and autopsy surgeon. That means, who are you? Which means we are going to identify him. How you died? That means we want to know the medical cause of death. How it happened? What was the fatal period? Since how long you were dead? That is, we are going to determine time since death. Then who caused it? That is the manner of infliction or manner of death. So the objective now will become, upon these dialogues, we will have to establish the personal identification, to determine the medical cause of death, to determine mode of death, manner of death, time of death or fatal period, and time since death or the post-mortem interval. So regarding personal identity, as we know, the personal identity is absolute fixation of the individuality. And various methods have been used for identification, and they are the subjective method. That means the subject is in front of you. From head to toe, all the parameters are his identity. From head to toe, you can examine and identify. Then objective examination. That means any object having an association with the subject. That may be his driving license, his passport, ID card, ornaments, belongings, all the object which has a specific relation or which are related to the subject, they are objective. And it also includes, if, for example, we take the measurements, we study a bone, then that study of bone will become an objective examination. Then the third party methods, any third person confirms the identity. His relatives, friends, or police confirms the identification. So subjective is the subject is in front of you, his age, sex, race, height, weight, build. All these are the parameters of subjective examination. Then objective, any object having an association with the subject, his ID card, driving license, passport, ornament, clothes. This is objective method of identification. Then the third party, that any third person, which are relatives, parents, next of kin, friends, or police, they confirm the identity. But at autopsy, the body usually may be in different condition. That means it may be a fresh body. Then the third party method is usually applied in known cases. And if it is in early decomposition, subjective and objective method can be applied. And when it is much decomposed, only objective method will be applicable. So these are various situations which we come across at autopsy. So various methods which is prevalent can be used. Now we want to know the medical cause of death. Medical cause of death is a complex or a chain of events, and a complete anatomical study of the body, and also with the help of various aided procedures, will determine the medical cause of death. So the first step there will be structural damage, like the damage to the heart with a sharp edge weapon, or compression of neck with a rope. This is the cause leading to structural damage. And second stage will, this structural damage will lead to functional disturbances, which may be physiological derangements or systemic failure. So the cause of death may be any. It will lead to a chain of events. And these chain of events will then lead to a vital systems failure. And this is the medical cause of death. So every cause will lead to a chain of events leading to a vital systems failure. So it will move on into the next stage if not interfered with, that is the terminal event. And this terminal event will depend upon the vital system which is interfered with. That means the tripod of life, atria mortis, CVS, CNS, and respiratory system, they are the tripod of life, and they are also the atria mortis, that is the gateway to death. So this determines the mode of death, that the system whose failure will lead, that will determine the mode. So there are, depending upon the three vital systems, there are three modes of death. And if the CNS or central nervous system is interfered with, there will be coma. And if cardiovascular system is interfered with, it will lead to syncope. Or if respiration is interfered with, it will cause asphyxia. So few example, injury to the heart by a knife will cause the structural damage, which will cause perfuse hemorrhage, which is the structural functional disturbance, and will further lead to circulatory shock or syncope, which is the terminal event. So the cause will lead to a mechanism which will lead to a mode. So organic damage leading to functional disturbances will lead to terminal event. Then what is the manner of death? Manner of death is that manner is natural or unnatural. Natural means because of some disease, or unnatural mean that cause can be any unnatural. So the unnatural manner can be suicidal, homicidal, and accidental. Cause may be any, but manner will be suicidal, homicidal, or accidental in unnatural cases. So to determine the manner of death, it's a combined study of medical and non-medical part. Non-medical part is the study at the scene of crime, which is done by the police in our country. Because in our country, the authority is with the police to visit the scene of crime, and the autopsy surgeon is not the part of that team. So the medical part is done by the doctor conducting the autopsy, and the non-medical by the police. So what is the fatal period? That means the time which elapsed between the injury and death, that is from occurrence of events to terminally death. So this event may be natural or by unnatural happening, and the length of time for which the person remained alive, that has to be estimated. So because in the court there is sometimes a very important question that how much time this person could have been alive after getting this injury, because the police have noted down circumstantial evidence, so the medical evidence will confirm. So the two evidence will be collaborated and try to arrive at a decision. For example, if the police says that the person was sitting at a restaurant and eating food, and someone attacked him with a pistol and fired, and the person was died at the spot. But when the autopsy conducting doctor conducted the autopsy and they find the stomach was empty, this means he was not having the food at a restaurant. So the police was wrong. So this is how the circumstantial evidence is collaborated with the medical evidence. So medical evidence is important. We have to determine the time period after injury and death. So the fatal period depend upon the nature of event, the part of the body which is involved, the system of the body involved, the extent of damage, and it is determined by the study of the chain of sequence or chronological sequence of events leading to death. Then regarding post-mortem interval, as we know, this is the time which elapsed between death and autopsy. These events occur in a definitive chronological order. There are certain changes which are appearing in the body after death, and they help us in determining time since death. And these changes, as we know, they are time related, and they help us in determining time since death. So greater the post-mortem interval, greater will be the range of time since death. So it is calculated from the changes which are appearing after death, that is the immediate changes, the early changes, and the late changes. And immediate changes, we know they are at the time of death, the signs of death. And they are the signs of loss of tripod of life. So immediate signs will be brain death will be declared when there will be permanent fixed dilated pupil, absence of all reflexes, cessation of respiration, cessation of cardiac activity. So these are the signs of death. And if the heart sounds and the respiration are absent over a continuous period of several minutes, the death could be declared. Then the early changes, they are the postmortem cooling, lividity, rigor mortis, and putrefaction. So these all changes are time framed. So by determining and studying these changes, we can determine time since death. Various biochemical changes also help us in determining time. Then now the corpus delicti. What is corpus delicti? It is a criminal charge of homicide, and it is positive identification of the victim, proof of the death by the criminal act of the accused. So we have to investigate and fix the responsibility, find a proof of death by the criminal act of the person involved. So this collective investigation is termed as corpus delicti, which is the main body of the crime. So the corpus delicti, literally it means the body of crime. It refers to those essential facts that shows a crime has taken place. For example, to establish the crime of burglary, the forensic analyst of crime of scene for physical evidence, which could include searching for the items of evidence as the tooth marks, the fingerprints at the point of entry, the broken doors and the glass windows, missing valuables, footwear impression, and so on. So these all are the positive evidences of a crime. Thank you very much. So this is all about the lecture number 3 on the topic of autopsy. And now we'll moving on to the next topic, inshallah. Take care. Allah Hafiz.